I'll snatch it in the blink of an eye.
Hello everyone! Today, let's have a look at the Nikke Quency Escape Queen. Quency Escape Queen is a non-limited missileless character. After her radar banner goes away, she can be acquired from any special banner, ordinary banner, friendship banner, mid-quality mode, high-quality mode, and missileless mode. This version of Quency is a burst 3 water code attacker. She's an SMG user and has a max ammo of 120 bullets. Her reload time is 1 second. Her basic attack does 5.06% of her attack, and core damage is 250%. Compared to other SMG attackers, Quency has lower basic attack number, but she can reload quite fast. And fortunately, her skill kits tell a different story. Quency gains a buff after landing 2 shots with her guns. The buff has 3 stages and can stack. Stage 1 stacks up to 10 and lasts for 2 seconds. It increases hit rate and attack. When stage 1 is fully stacked, a bonus is triggered. This bonus lasts until stage 1 buff is no longer active. Stage 2 stacks up to 10 and lasts for 1 second. It also increases hit rate and attack. When fully stacked, another bonus is activated. This bonus lasts until stage 2 is no longer active. Stage 3 stacks up to 5 and lasts for 0.5 seconds. It increases hit rate and attack. At max stacks, a final bonus is applied. This bonus lasts until stage 3 is no longer active. Quency's burst skill does 2 things: self-buff and dealing damage. This buff only affects herself. It increases attack damage and reload speed. They both last for 10 seconds. Her burst also does distributed damage to all enemies. Let's take a closer look at the kit. For every 2 shots, Quency receives 1 stack of buff. When she doesn't have the buff, the first stack activates stage 1. When stage 1 is at max stack, the next stack will activate stage 2. And when stage 2 is fully stacked, stage 3 can be activated. All 3 stages can be active at the same time, and the effects from all 3 stages are added together. During combat, we want all 3 stages to stay active for as long as possible. Luckily, this buff can stack up quickly thanks to her fast fire rate. So, losing a stage isn't too much of a penalty. I'll bet it is still a loss in DPS. As for the burst skill, distributed damage means the damage is split evenly among all enemies. For example, if there is only 1 enemy, all of the damage will be done to that 1 enemy. However, if there are 10 enemies, then each enemy will only take 1/10 of the total damage. The damage is based on Quency's final attack. This means attack from overload options and buffs does increase the skill's damage. Skill 1 affects the max stack bonuses from her buff. Skill 2 affects the 3 stages of the buff. Burst skill affects the burst buff and the distributed damage dealer. Quency Escape Queen is a 10-10-10 character, meaning all 3 skills should be at level 10. Although the max stack bonuses are quite good, they are not required for Quency's basic functionalities. This puts skill 1 at the lowest in the leveling priority. Skill 2 affects attack and hit rate, which determine an SMG's ability to hit the enemy's core. For this reason, skill 2 takes the highest leveling priority. As for the burst skill, an increase in attack damage is always welcomed. And more importantly, better reload speed allows Quency to maintain her buff stages more consistently. The burst skill has the second highest leveling priority. Personally, I would go from 111 to 144. Then I would level it up to 177 and reach the milestone of 477. If we are low on skill resources, we can stay at 477 as a budget build. From here, we have 3 paths to reach the final goal. We can go 4-10-7 to do more general damage and to hit the enemy's core more consistently. Going 4-7-10 allows Quency to do more damage during full burst, maintain stage 3 buff easier, and have higher AoE distributed damage. Or we can take turn leveling skill 2 and burst skill, like going 8-8, 9-9, and then 10-10. The finishing touches are 4-10-10, 7-10-10, and lastly 10-10-10. In my opinion, overload gears should complement the Nikke's kill kits. Quency's kits have strong foundations for core hit. Although she had a slight critical rate buff, her kits do not provide bonus to critical damage. Distributed damage is supported by her kit. Quency has a max ammo count of 120 bullets, and her reload time is fast, being only 1 second. With all of this in mind, we can say that attack, hit rate, and max ammo options are beneficial. I can think of 2 approaches to build gears for Quency's Escape Queen. Let's start with the first approach. Max ammo. Quency mainly does damage with her basic attacks. When she reloads her guns, a DPS loss occurs. She resumes her DPS afterward. In this graph, these colors represent her buff stages. A black bar means either a dip in DPS or a complete DPS loss. This often happens when she has to reload. Here, Quency reloaded 2 times and spent a total of 240 bullets. Quency lost both of stage 2 and 3 buffs after reloading. It takes her 20 and 10 bullets to regain stage 2 and 3 buff respectively. That means in every DPS cycle, roughly 30 out of 120 bullets have reduced DPS. In this approach of building gears, the idea is to eliminate these reductions in DPS. Simply put, more shooting, less dips in DPS, more damage. To accomplish this, we use max ammo options on her gears and the Bastion's Harmony Cube. I made a few builds categorized into 3 groups: ideal builds, budget builds, and starter builds. We start with the ideal builds. These builds utilize all 12 slots on the gears. Max ammo is the whole idea of this approach, so 4 lines of max ammo should be in here. Next, we choose between Elemental and Attack. Elemental increases damage by a lot more, but it is completely useless in situations without elemental advantage. Attack, on the other hand, is less of an increase, but it works in all situations. If we use Quency only against fire enemies and nothing else, then we go elemental all the way. But if we want to use her more universally in many different situations, then Attack is the right pick. Personally, I choose Elemental over Attack, so 4 lines of Elemental should be added. With only 4 slots left, we have to make compromise between Attack, hit rate, and crit rate. Unlike Solene, Quency does not specialize in critical damage, so we can cross crit rate out of the list. Now, Quency does have high damage bonus from core hits. So having Quency hitting the core as often as possible is certainly a strategy. But her guns, being SMGs, miss the core quite often. She needs additional hit rate to guarantee core hits. Thankfully, her Stage 3 buff does give a total of 61.1% hit rate. This is enough for her to hit the core very accurately when the enemy is at close range. The same thing, however, cannot be said for situations at mid and far range. At mid range, about half of her shots would miss the core. And at far range, only few bullets would actually make it there. If we want to take advantage of Quency's core hits, we need more hit rate. So 4 lines of hit rate take the last slots. Or we can reduce that to 3 hit rate and add 1 attack. And if we don't go after core hits, then 4 attack lines fill the slots. Now, these ideal builds are very expensive to acquire. Having perfect options requires insane investment and luck. Let's explore the more affordable setups, the budget builds. Here, we take ideal builds and tune them down to make them actually achievable. With these budget builds, we work with 8 slots instead of 12. Again, increasing max ammo is the foundations of this approach, so all 4 of them stay. For the last 4 slots, either all elemental or all attack. We can also substitute 2 of them with 2 hit rate for core hits. Moving on to the starter builds. Starter builds are setups that we end up with when trying to do the budget builds. For these builds, we assume that only 4 slots are available. Since these starter builds are just stepping stones for the budget builds, we don't have to think too much. RNG is unpredictable, so we use what we can get. For the most part, the approach of increasing max ammo for Quency is pretty solid, but we have to miss out on a few elemental damage, attack, or core hits. For the second approach, we focus more on enhancing Quency's damage abilities, the approach of increasing power. Instead of trying to prevent DPS loss, we focus on enhancing the existing damage. The goal here is to have as many elemental, attack, and hit rate lines as possible. Resilient Cube is used in this setup. Let's have a look at the overload options, starting with the ideal setups. With 12 slots, we can put 4 lines each for elemental, attack, and hit rate. The problem is the lack of additional max ammo options. Quency will be reloading quite often, resulting in some dips in DPS. We'll look at the fixes for this problem in just a little bit. Here in the budget builds, we work with 8 slots. We can afford 4 elemental and 2 attack, or vice versa. Elemental for situations with elemental advantage, or attack for all situations. I choose elemental over attack. As for the remaining 2 slots, we go with hit rate or attack. We assume to only have 4 slots with the starter builds. We just use what we can get here. Okay, this approach has a flaw. Because we don't use any max ammo line, Quency's reloading will drop her DPS here and there. Her reloading time is fast, being only 1 second, so it's not too big of a problem. But even so, she might have to rebuild her stage 2 and 3 stacks after reloading. To counter this flaw, we need to reduce her reload time. Simply put, the more reload speed up, the better. Lucky for us, there are a few ways to achieve this. At level 5, Resilient Cube provides 22.27% reload speed up, and Quency's burst skill adds another 25.87% to that. That means when we burst with Quency, she has a total of 48.14% reload speed up. In this case, it only takes her 0.51 second to reload. I think this is good enough of a fix. But if we are still bothered by the slight dip in DPS, then this is to go even further beyond. Okay, I'm sorry. If Crown is in the party, Quency will get another 44.35% reload speed up. This totals up to 92.42%, turning the reload time to 0.076 seconds. Replacing Crown with Privity, who gives 51.16% reload speed up, and Quency would have 99.3% reload speed up, or 0.007 seconds of reload time. Instant reload.
Down with those reflecting the What should I seal this time? Anything else I can do to help with these?
Here we have 2 grabs for the max ammo approach. On the left, we have one for base Quency without gears. The one on the right is with 100% extra max ammo. Both of these shows that Quency shot a total of 240 bullets. Normal Quency has to reload twice, resulting in these dips in DPS, while the max ammo one had less dips. Now we look at the graph with 4 clips of ammo. In this case, Quency has 300% extra max ammo. The normal version has to reload 4 times, while the max ammo one only reloads once. This approach aims to reduce or eliminate these losses in DPS. With Power Quency, we don't care about these DPS losses. If it happens, let it be. In terms of gameplay, both of these are the same, but the bars here are higher than those of the normal version. This approach aims to punch harder. While max ammo build has a lot fewer dips in DPS, the bars here are lower. Power Quency has higher bars, but she loses DPS more often. Instant reload can be enabled for both of these approaches, though it doesn't really improve max ammo build that much. Meanwhile, instant reload completely eliminates the flaw of Power Quency. Of course, it comes with a catch, being a dependency on other Nikkes. Both of these approaches are pretty solid. I only have a few rocks to reroll my gears, so personally, I just let RNG decide. And in my case, RNG gave me Power Quency. Those are my two approaches to building Quency Escape Queen. For the last part, we look at the team compositions for Quency Escape Queen. Please note that these are not for ranking. Instead, we determine whether or not Quency can fit in a given team. For advices on ranking, we should refer to actual rankers. Okay, this version of Quency is a self-sufficient burst 3 DPS unit. So technically, she can replace any DPS unit of any team. But we must be careful, as Quency might not be as powerful as the DPS unit she is replacing. Let's start with a team that nobody really uses. The Litter, Crown and Naga team. With Quency, this team can take in one additional burst 3 unit. This is a great team for Quency because of all the amazing damage buff. Also, Naga gives a huge core hit damage buff, which Quency can benefit from. And Crown provide huge reload speed up, which is a big help for Power Quency. A similar team to this is the Tia and Naga team. With Quency, this team can have another burst 3 unit. Although not as good as Crown team, this team does have shield, healing, damage buffs, and bonus damage from core hits. However, this team does not come with a reload speed buff. Next is the good old Bunny team. There are two versions of the Bunny team now. The OG version consists of Blanc and Noah. Quency and another unit of any burst can join this team. This team has great healing, shield, and damage boost by Blanc, while Noah buffs attack and reloads a portion of Quency's max ammo for her. For max ammo Quency, this reloading is fantastic. And Power Quency can use this as a small fix to her flaw. Noah's burst skill also buffs 11.61% hit rate to all allies for 30 seconds. This helps Quency with getting core hits more easily. The new versions of the Bunny team consist of Blanc and Rouge. Two burst 3 units including Quency and another unit of any burst stage can join. Modernia can be used here. Her skill 2 provides 8.56% hit rate to all allies for 15 seconds, and she is an amazing DPS unit. If Noah is also here, then Quency would get 20.17% hit rate buff. Maybe we wouldn't need so many hit rate lines on her gears, huh? Next up is the Last Bullets team. It is composed of Privity and other Nikkes that benefit from having as little ammo as possible. Nikkes like Dorothy... Wait, what? Wait, huh? Thank you, Musan Pro. You're an amazing animator. Anyway, Nikke's like Dorothy, Summer Rosanna, Marciana, and Summer Anise. Max Ammo Quency should not be here, as Privity will cut her total max ammo in half. Power Quency will have instant reload enabled thanks to Privity. Iron and Scarlet can also be used here. Last but not least, the distributed damage team. Quency's burst skill does distributed damage to all enemies. Her skill 1 also buffs distributed damage to herself. If we want to focus on her DD ability, she can be together with other DD Nikkes. This team is composed of a burst 1 unit, Alex as a burst 2 DD buffer and defense D buffer. Quency is one of the burst 3 Nikkes. The last 2 slots are open for one burst 3 unit and another unit of any burst. Phantom and Bernie Alice are great additions here. Bernie Alice heals and provides max ammo as well as increasing stack count for her allies. And Phantom wants to be with her. There are definitely more team compositions for Quency Escape Queen. These are just the common ones that she can be quickly swapped in. This is everything I want to share about Quency Escape Queen. I hope that everything here was helpful in some way. I wish you the best of luck with your pulls, have fun with Nikke, and goodbye.